Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Persia War Room. I'm heading off to Partisan this weekend, but I thought before I went, I'd just give you a brief glimpse of what's going to be taking place in the War Room in the coming weeks, which is Omaha Beach, or representation of it in the dog sector. So we've got the western edge of Omaha Beach here. We've got two sets of assault waves. The thing about Omaha is, in order to wargame it properly, you have to wargame the draws, the escape routes from the beach, and they're very few. And because there are the bluffs, if you look there, you can see the texture of the hills there. The only way out of the beach is through these draws, these causeways. So there's one over there, and there's one here. And then we've got the strong points tucked around the place, the resistance nests, the WN points. There's one here on the cliff top firing down there. There's others dotted around on top of the bluffs. And then there's this building down here, this little complex down here, which was actually very clever of the Germans. They demolished a hotel, the Hotel Eden, I think, from memory, and used the basement to form one half of the resistance nest, and the other half was a traditional sort of concrete bunker. And what they've got in there is an 88 and other guns. This, I think, up here was a Skoda gun firing across the beach. And sometimes people ask me, why do the German bunker defenses have concrete embrasures going perpendicular to the shoreline? In line with the shoreline. And that's so that they could be defended from fire from the fleet, but fire out at the beach. So we've got here the first waves to arrive. So this will be the first wave, the second wave, the third wave. The first wave comprises this landing craft with these DD tanks. And the thing about these is that the plan was to land them at a distance away from the shore and let them make their own way in. But the conditions on Omaha on D Day were very, very rough. So although a few were launched at sea, the majority, the naval officers, the majority took the decision that it would be more sensible to bring them up to the shoreline and discharge them from the landing craft. That worked quite well for the Americans because the American plan all along was to position these DD tanks at the shoreline to provide covering fire. The only difficulty with that was with the incoming water. So what they tended to do was keep the screen, the flotation screen, up at the rear, but drop it at the front so they could fire the weapon. Nonetheless, there was water ingress into the tanks, so they moved upshore a little bit. And the thing about the beach here in Omaha is it was a shingle shore, it wasn't sand, which made it very, very dangerous. When ordnance was landing on the beach, instead of being absorbed by the sand and deadening the impact, it was exploding the shingle into shrapnel. So a lot of people were injured by this exploding shrapnel because there was very few places to hide other than the beach defences. I'll probably stick a few more beach defences on this beach. There's some ruined buildings, and for the war game itself, we'll have smoke coming from those ruined buildings because smoke played a big part in helping with cover on the day. But other than that, the game is set up ready and to go. And I hope that you'll join me for the show of the game as it goes through. There's some interesting bits and pieces to deploy. There's guys carrying ashore the explosives, and actually the boats were filled with interesting teams. The Americans expected high casualties, so they filled the boats with interesting teams. They had bazooka on the boat, obviously, but they also had a flamethrower teams. They had Bangalore torpedo teams and other explosive ordnance teams, and they organized the boats. The guy at the front was the ranking officer, and then the guy at the back was the ranking NCO. And the job of the ranking NCO was to make sure nobody thought it'd be a good idea to stay on the boat, but to get everybody off. And they knew there were tough ways out of this beach, which is why they had all the additional explosive power with them, because they knew they'd have to blow their way out of the beach, because they couldn't just ride up the bluffs. That was impossible. They were sandy, covered in scatter bushes and brush, etc., and topped off by all these defensive points, which were protected by ditches, minefields, and razor wire. So it made it very, very difficult for them to get off this beach. Unlike the other beaches, which were sandy, tended to have just a seawall or just an easy way off the beach. The only way out of this beach is through the draws. We've got two of them deployed here. It would be interesting to see how tough it is in wargame sense to do it. Now, I've based mine on this D Day guide from Rapid Fire Wargames. But that's being updated at the moment by Colin Rumford, and he's shared with me the plans for the new landing team. So that's what I'm trying to use in this game. We're using Rapid Fire Reloaded rules. We're also going to be using the Rapid Fire Reloaded extra rules, which include specialist rules for amphibious landings, which you can see tucked away there. So it's a beautiful sunny evening here in Perthshire tonight. I'll be at Partisan at the weekend, and I hope you can join me for the forthcoming videos. Thanks very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. At the time of making this video, we're on 880 subscribers. I'd really like to get to 1,000. So I know it's a specialist hobby. There's only a few of us around, but it'd be great if we could get some decent sort of numbers. Thanks, guys. Look forward to seeing you next time.